Have you ever loved something? I mean, really loved something. When I was a child, I'm with you. I loved to sing. Picture it, me in the back seat of my dad's wood-sided station wagon, belting out all the hits, from the Beatles to Broadway, and my poor parents. Every song I was murdering mercilessly. I was off-key, off-beat, and born without a mute button. But thankfully, I was born to parents that knew the value of happiness. But in March 2016, there was no more singing. There were no more happy melodies. There were no more songs. I would pull up at a stoplight next to teenagers. I'd see them happy, their windows down, the music up, singing along. I'd grumble, turn it down, it's too loud. They were on their way to somewhere fun. I was on my way to work. But I loved what I did. I was an executive in the events industry, my dream job. I got to watch 800 people witness the union of two people in love in rooms filled with roses and crystals and candles. I got to plan parties where good food and great wine brought people together. I loved what I did, who I did it with, and who I did it for. Until one day I didn't. I started trading in love for resentment. The teams I had hired, I now shrugged off when they asked questions. The late nights bonded together by war, I now resented missing things at home. I was tired all the time, and yet I never felt rejuvenated, even after a long night's sleep. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was part of a global epidemic called burnout. And burnout, it's a working person's disease. It's a global phenomenon, a syndrome that isn't in our DNA. We've invented it by not being able to manage stress at work. Simply put, burnout is when happiness leaves your work. And when happiness leaves your work, it's even easier to have happiness leave your life. Which is why I did what any normal, sane person would do. I walked into work one day and just exploded in a flurry of curse words and unprofessional behavior. I threw it all away. In an instant, I went from executive to unemployed. It was petrifying. I had always known what I was going to do, but not this time. How did I get here? How did I let this happen? I had succeeded in every way I wanted to succeed. I had titles, I had awards, I had great income. Why wasn't it enough? Well, being unemployed gives you time to think. And that thinking led to me becoming a behavioral analyst, a professional person curious about why we behave, say, and do things that we do. And now as I travel the world as a behavioral analyst and a keynote speaker, one of the most common questions I get is, how did I go from burnout to living my best life? And it starts with the lie of success. Is everyone familiar with success that looks like this? It's seemingly so simple. Go to school, graduate, get a job, find a boo, get another job, maybe a promotion, get engaged, get married, get a new car, get a new house, get a new spouse. All of a sudden you're at success? That's not how it works. This is not this linear line up. This is a rumor. It's a myth. It died a long time ago. And I think you'll join me in knowing that this is the actual reality of success. Now, full disclosure, this is my weight over the past 3 years. There have been highs, there have been lows. It's a journey. But seriously, how many times have you been killing it at work and been a bad daughter? How many times have you been crushing it with clients? Clients love you, but you haven't called your mom, haven't shown up for wine night with your girlfriends. I think that we all work too hard, we work too long to feel this bad when success comes for us. This myth of success, well, I got more curious about it. And through my research, through my experience, through talking to hundreds, thousands of people, I'm here to tell you one very true fact. When you burn out, the absence of fire only leaves a space for a stronger flame to ignite. In my research, I found 3 things, 3 pillars, 3 foundations that can help you and someone you love navigate burnout. Because when you burn out, I don't want it to be an end game. I want you to burn out and be successful. The question isn't, are you going to be successful? It's, are you going to be successful in a way that matters to you? And the first step is be open. Dr. Dina Globerman, an expert on burnout, says that burnout happens for 3 reasons. Relationships change, circumstances change, or you've changed. That last one is pivotal. We are human beings meant to grow, change, evolve. I don't think Neanderthals had thumbs as good as we have for all of our typing. That's an evolution. And the same thing's true for your desires. Have you checked in on them lately? Have you asked yourself, how do I want to feel today? How do I want to feel in a year? How do I want to feel in 5 years? I beg of you, get intimate with your desires. Desires are put in your heart for a reason. Are you open to them? Or do you hear the calling of something and ignore it? Burnout comes for people that are not open to their desires, that are not open to answering the question, have I changed? Have my goals changed? Has things that made me happy changed? They're not open to the answer being yes. But if what you seek is what you find, then why not seek how you want to feel every day? And be open to defining it for yourself. You want to feel sexy? Good. Buy some sexy clothes. Do some sexy workouts. You want to feel young? Learn to play the drums. Go get a tattoo. You want to feel successful? You want to feel influential? Stand up straight. Put on a blazer. Show them who's boss. The second step that I encourage, and I know will impact you, is to get focused. Let me explain what I mean. When I quit my job, I mentioned I had a lot of time on my hands. One of the things that I knew I wanted to feel was healthy, so I did what most people do. I joined a gym. Now, I did what most people don't do. I actually went. I went to the gym and I got on the elliptical and I was so proud. I was like, oh, look at me. Look at all these good-looking, fit people. I am one of you. Yes. About 20 seconds in, my thoughts changed. My newfound openness to how I was feeling and thinking had made me a little more sensitive to the things that came next. Oh, I don't want to be here. Just a basic complaining. And then what happened next, I'll never forget it. It came fast and it came sharp. And the words in my head said, if you weren't so fat, you wouldn't have to work out. If you didn't eat Chinese food on date night last week, you wouldn't have to have this pain, but you do, you did, you deserve it. Rude, super rude. I had no clue that the diet of thoughts I was feeding myself were focused on keeping me down. Universally, what we feed our mind matters. So what are you focused on feeding your mind? If you're going to be mindful, what's it full of? I'm going to make the argument that it should be full of happy thoughts, positive thoughts, true thoughts. Now when I get on the elliptical, so fit, so strong, so fit, so strong. It's a mantra I repeat to myself all the time. And then sometimes as I'm getting off, I think, pizza, pizza, pizza. As you fill up your mind, I've got to tell you, it's more than just good vibes that you're going to get. There's an incredible study done by 3 groundbreaking women from the University of California, Lisa Walls, Julia Bowen, and Sonia Luborowski. And in that study, they asked the question, does success make us happy? Or does being happy make us successful? And every single study they looked at showed that happiness is a precursor to success. They studied everyone from professional athletes to professional salespeople. And across the board, happy people made more money, got more promotions, were more liked by their team, more respected in their industry. They raised profits for their company, won more games. They sold more plans. The beautiful thing about being happy and successful is that as I travel the world, I have never met anyone that tells me why they want to be successful, and it starts with themselves. I meet women specifically, and they tell me about what they are going to do with their success, how they're going to share it, how they are going to, as Michelle Obama once said, when they go through the door of opportunity, they are going to reach back and pull someone through with them. That's the beauty of being happy and successful. It makes other people more successful. Happy people do more. They encourage more. They share more. It's this magical cycle of doing good and feeling even better so you can do more good. Happy people are successful. Happy people change the world. And happiness is an inside job. Are you doing a good job for yourself? Because your impact is limitless. Be open. Get focused. The third step, it's redefining that success. Now, let me be the first one to say, what does success look like to you? Does it mean walking your kids to school every day, being your own boss, staying up all night on your creative projects? Maybe. Does success look like being part of an award-winning team, celebrating victories together, crushing goals, high fives in the office? Is success having $1 million in the bank, flying on private jets, and drinking margaritas with Cardi B? Oh, listen, I don't know. That's for me. I can't tell you what success looks like to you, but what I can tell you is that you are going to be successful. You've shown up here. That's an exceptional thing to do. You're getting education because I think that you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Changing the world already. Show me what success looks like. And by the way, when you're targeting success, I want you to make sure that it aligns with your values. I talk to people a lot about their values. When I ask someone, what are your values? They say something like, live, laugh, love. Friends, family, faith. They say it as if it's some inspirational sign in a bathroom. But I'm going to make a request. I'm going to challenge you to look at where you spend your time and where you spend your money, and that will show me what you value. You tell me friends, family, faith, and you are not in the pews on Sunday. You're not going to your house of worship. You're not part of that community. You're not tithing. You tell me family, you've missed family dinners every single night this week. You don't make it to family reunions. You're always trading in, tucking in for late night emails. Emails never end. There's the spoiler. Go tuck someone in. You tell me friends are important and you've canceled one too many times so that people don't even invite you out anymore. Listen, I don't care what you value. I'm very liberal-minded. I want you to value whatever strikes your heart, but be very clear with yourself, very honest with yourself. And by the way, when you audit your calendar and your bank account, you don't like what it says, good, change it. There is not going to be anyone in your life except for you that comes along and says, hey, by the way, you should change your calendar to focus on your values. That's an inside job, which is great because that means the success that we're all running after, it's ours to get. not relying on others. It's ours to get. Be open, get focused, redefine success, success that matters to you. Those 3 foundations, they'll treat you well. But I will tell you, they're hard. Burning out comes from people who love what they do. It comes from people that care deeply. It comes from people who identify with the work that they do. And that was definitely me. That's the way I'm built. And of all the hard things I had to do in burnout, the hardest one, honestly, was to tell my dad I had quit my job. This is me and the hottest guy I ever met, and my dad on the greatest day of my life. And you see, I am the oldest in an Italian-American Catholic family. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of eating involved in my family. And my dad and I are really similar. We both love to laugh, love to sing, and love to succeed. So about a month after I quit, I finally got up the nerve to tell him. I drove over to my parents' house. I swung open their big red door, and there was my dad sitting there on the couch in his white undershirt, eating cashews, watching some old Clint Eastwood movie. As I plopped down on the couch next to him, he was like, come on, cough it up. He was always good. He knew something was up. And I launched into what was probably the fastest explanation anyone has ever given. I said, okay, listen, I quit my job, but it's going to be okay, and we don't need money. But we're going to be fine. I don't know what's going on, but I was really unhappy, and I can't figure out why, and I know I always wanted it, and I hope you guys aren't disappointed. I hope you're not angry, and I'm so sorry, but I've just figured it out. And by the way, we don't need any money. We're doing okay. I'm just, I'm going to figure it out, and I've always been successful. And I know you always say, don't quit a job until you have a job, but I just couldn't do it, and I can't explain it. And as I started to lose breath, he put up his big bare paw of a hand, the universal sign for calm down in my family. And he looked at me and he said, aren't you glad you figured it out now? Yes. Yes, I am. On the way home that night, my windows, they were down. And the music, it was so up. And my voice was louder and stronger and happier than it had been in such a long time. I was burning bright, and I invite you all to do the same. Thank you so much.